Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and you guys, today's review is going to be unlike any other review because this package, oh girl, was it late. I have been waiting around all morning for this. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have watched me all morning yesterday in the wee hours wait and wait and wait for this package to finally arrive. And of course, we are waiting for none other than the new Stay Naked foundation from Urban Decay. I did pick it up in 2 shades, and I am so freaking excited to try this foundation. I feel like it is so hype right now. And then they added the little like, oh, up to 24-hour wear, and I'm like, okay girl, whatever. Like, I never test a foundation for 24 hours because girl, my skin, like, look at my face. My face can barely handle foundation for a regular day. Hello? I can't be doing no 24-hour wear test. Who do you think I am, Houdini? I can't live that life. Along with this foundation, Urban Decay also released a bunch of other stuff, which I did happen to pick up. Big shocker. I grabbed the concealer, the color correctors, 2 of the lip tints, as well as the sponge. Now, what I'm going to be doing is actually breaking this video up. So today will be the foundation, and then in another video in a day or 2, I will be checking out the concealer, the color corrector, and all of that, because as you guys are well familiar with at this point, I do not like to mix my complexion products if I can help it. I really like to give a new foundation on its own the chance to play with what I normally go with, and then in another video I will use a foundation I'm familiar with these and kind of go this route as well, just so that way I can really give them both their moment, dive into the consistency and like all the little pieces, versus trying to shove them all into one video, and then I feel like there's just not as much information and blah 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 blah. So these will be here in a day or 2, so stick around for that. Hit that subscribe button, girl, if you have not, because your girl puts up 5 videos a week, so it's definitely worth sticking around for. It will be here soon, I promise. Now that being said, you guys, we are going to dive into the nitty gritty of this foundation review right now. I am on the Urban Decay website, which is where I picked this up at, and let's dive into the info that they offer. So it looks like this is a $39 foundation, and you do receive 1 full fluid ounce, standard amount there, which is good. This foundation already has, oh my god, 107 reviews with 4.7 star average rating. Wow, that's impressive. Down in the description here, it says, find your naked truth with Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation, our vegan buildable medium coverage liquid foundation with a real skin matte finish that lasts up to 24 hours. We designed this lineup in 50 shades with 9 shade intensities, 3 master tones, and 7 undertones to dial in your precise color match. Our waterproof long wear foundation feels like wearing nothing thanks to a breathable, flexible formula that moves with you all day and all night for up to 24 hours. It not only feels better, it even looks better with its Stay True color, which minimizes the appearance of pores, so you always look like you. And as always, Urban Decay is 100% cruelty-free. I am so curious also, if you didn't see the campaign for this, Lizzo is in the campaign. Oh girl, I love Lizzo. I know everybody loves that one, the what is that? The Truth, is it Truth Hurts? The one where she's like, I just took that DNA test, turns out I'm 100%. Like, I know everybody loves that song, I do too, but if you like Lizzo at all and you have not heard the song Tempo, girl, you need to go listen to it right now. Turn it up to the tempo. Slow songs up a skinny house. Can't move all of this here to one of those. Oh, you need to listen to Tempo if you have not yet. Consider this a PSA. Go listen to it. So these are the shades I ended up picking. I grabbed 11NN and 20NN. And something that I really like about this and how they actually put the shade range on the box is they break down that entire little system I was just talking about. They break it down on the box. So right here it says 11. Ultra Fair is my shade intensity, which they said that they had 9 shade intensities or something. And then Undertone, I chose Neutral, which is my master tone with a neutral undertone. So basically, like how some people will say, oh, well, you know, I'm neutral, but I also have a little olive in my skin tone, or I have like kind of a red or a pink undertone, but there is a little bit of warmth to it. That's kind of what they're trying to narrow down, that side of it where it's like, okay, you know, I'm predominantly this, but I do have this little hint underneath. And the fact that they not only did that, but that they also broke it down on the box, I really think that that is so cool. All right, so you guys, here is the packaging, and I really like this. It actually has like an offset to it, so it's not just your standard unicarton. It actually has a little bit of a cutout design right here. And then, oh, that's a pump. Yes, honey, it's a pump. Yes. So here's the first shade, 11NN. It is a little bit light, which is why I grabbed 2 shades. Then the next one I have here is the shade, what was this one? 20NN. And this one is probably closer to what I would use for my skin. Actually, that's damn near a perfect match, I'd say. 20 NN, I believe, is what we'll be using, guys. Dang. And something else I just wanted to mention before we go in and start applying to the face, this is a plastic component. Just something to note if you prefer plastic, glass, one or the other. It is plastic, but it's a real pretty plastic, girl. Real pretty. Now, for today's primers, I went in with both of these. On this side, I did my Tatcha Silk Canvas. This is my Good Control Variable. And then on this side, I went in with the Becca Skin Love Brighten and Blur Primer, which you will be seeing a little bit more information on this little guy here in 2-3-ish days. So keep your eye open for this, some more information on it, my updated thoughts and opinions. But that is what I went in with today. And if you're new here and like wondering why I did this, anytime I do a foundation review across the board, I really like to split my primers down the center of the face, just so that way I know like if there's an issue with the product, does it work well with this type of a primer, not this type, matte versus glowy, pore filling versus glowy, or you know, whatever the case is. I really just like to always divide it just to make sure it's not the primer causing the issue. So that is why we went in with these two. I almost always am doing Tatcha Silk Canvas over here and then something else on this side, but just so you guys know, that is what's happening there. Now let's also go ahead and talk for a second here about this buildable sponge. This is their Build and Blend sponge, actually. It retails for $18, which granted it is a high-end sponge, but y'all know my favorite high-end sponge of all time. Girl, where'd you go? That's right, honey, my Fenty Sponge. Oh girl, I know that they are not cheap. I know you can get a cheaper Real Techniques one, but I love this Fenty sponge so much. I've repurchased it probably 2 or 3 times, and I think it is absolutely fantastic. Now for $18, in the description of this here, it says, build it up, baby. The Build and Blend sponge is our super soft, double-sided sponge with a silicone center that ensures smooth makeup application without soaking up excess product. Use the Build Blend sponge's silicone center, which is this part right here, to build up product and max out coverage on your complexion. Then blend and diffuse with the super soft sponge. Dampen the sponge and watch it double in size for all over buffing. Now I think we have talked plenty, honey. Let's go ahead and go in with this foundation. So I'm going to start off by going in with their fancy little sponge here and building up. Did I go in with the right color or did I just go in with the light shade? That's the darker shade. Wow, that looks really light. All right, so in getting that spread over that entire area, you guys can see the coverage isn't bad. I don't know if I like doing the entire face with this sponge, mainly because this little plastic thing, like that noise, I do not live for. I also don't love the way that it presses it into the skin. Like it does it, but it feels like more work to press it in than with a regular sponge. And if you look at the sponge, hold on, you can kind of see that it's like gathering around the edges of that little silicone piece. I don't know that I love that either. I'm gonna go in here with just my Fenty sponge and I want to see if I can build up a little bit of this coverage over here. Oh wow, that already feels so much nicer with my Fenty sponge. Wow. I don't think that that other sponge is a bad sponge. I just think maybe that targeted little tip thing is going to be better for like a concealer or something up here. Or if you wanted to build your foundation, like build the coverage over a red area or acne, maybe better for that. But as far as just application over the whole face, really just prefer my regular sponge. Now this foundation is drying down very quickly. Like pretty much dried down to my skin at this point. I do also want to go in on the other side with a brush, the Morphe Y11, and just work that all over and see what the coverage looks like. I don't hate it with a brush. I do feel like because it's such a thin liquid, it does go in and kind of leave me a little bit streakier than I would like. I would have to go over that anyways though with a sponge, so I don't know for me if I would go in and use a brush, but if you prefer a brush, it will work. It's just, again, I'm getting some streakies that I don't love. Oh, wow, a lot of streaks on the nose. Yeah. For me, girl, I'm a sponge. Sorry, I'm a sponge girl through and through, honey. I do also agree that I am getting a pretty straightforward medium coverage out of this, which, again, I'm not mad at. You guys know as of lately anyways, I've been really into medium coverage foundations, and even if it's full coverage, I've been shearing it out, so I'm not mad at it. I do want to try to build it up just a little bit, though, just to see if it does build to more of a full coverage over like a super red area. Okay, so it's not super ultra buildable. I think it builds over like regular redness, regular hyperpigmentation, that sort of thing. But over a super, super red area like that, as you can tell, I still do have some redness showing. I'm not mad at it personally, but if you do like that full coverage beat, something to keep in mind. But because it dried down so fast, you guys know I'm all about the experiments. I'm gonna take a little bit more, and I wanna see, now that this side has actually settled down, I haven't set it with anything, but it has just been settling and drying down. I wanna see if you can still build on it once it dries down, or if you have to leave it alone. Because there's a lot of people that they like to come back later and build up some extra coverage. And wow, I'm super impressed. Normally when a foundation dries down that matte that quickly, you really can't touch it again. And this one, you'd never know. And it's still really smooth too. I'm super impressed right now, guys. Like, I'm super impressed. Now let's go ahead and get some concealer on this face. I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape here in Porcelain Beige, which is, thank God, still light enough. Whoo, doggy. I was worried there for a second, but we're gonna make it work. All right, we're good, we're blended. I feel like I look even whiter now than when I started, but that's okay, no harm, no foul there. I'm actually going to do something a little different for this foundation review. Normally I don't do this, but this is going so well. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Huda Tantour here, just to give me a little bit of warmth back, because I feel like a literal ghost. So let me take some of this. Where's my brush? Screw it, I'll just take it on my little sponge here, my Fenty Sponge, and I will work this all over the face as well. Girl's just gotta have a little bit of bronzer in her life. Oh my God. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, praise be. Don't forget your nose, cause it is pasty too. Why is that, you might ask? Because it is on you. All right, so then I'm going to grab my Hourglass Translucent Veil Setting Powder, set the entire face. You guys know the drill. I like to keep things consistent. I'm gonna go ahead here and pat out these creases with my little Urban Decay fancy little silicone sponge. Listen here, Mr. Motorcycle. Shh. Now before I go in and set the rest of the face, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a touch test here and just kind of get a feel for how it's sitting. Wow. Like, I'm having the tiniest amount of transfer, but if you don't like to set your face, I don't think you'd have to. It's a very, very light dry down. Again, a tiny bit of transfer, but nothing major. I will warn you, if you are someone like me that does set your face, maybe you're a little bit lighter on the oil, be very mindful how much of this powder you go in with, because I honestly don't think you'll need a lot to really lock it down in place, because it has a really nice dry down to it naturally. And if you go in with a foundation ever and like over powder, it gets really cakey. So I always like to adjust the amount of powder I set with based on the foundation. All right, so now that we're done with powder, looking at this up close, let me grab my little handy dandy schmandy mirror. Handy dandy schmandy. Okay, looking at this up close, it looks so good. I can still see, because it's like a medium coverage, I can still see some of my natural skin poking through. But what I like about this is that it goes through really, really beautifully and is evening out my entire face, but it's doing it in a very like second skin way. Now I'm gonna go ahead off of camera real quick. I'm going to finish up the face, bronze, blush, highlight, brows. You guys know the drill. Nothing too crazy today because your girl's gotta get it going. And yeah, that's it. You guys, I'll check back in a second. Okay, you guys, I am back. I have the rest of my makeup on and we're gonna talk about it, but just for 1 second, let me just interject. If you hear some weird like kind of sawing noise in the background, I apologize. They are literally working on what I'm assuming is the power lines right outside my window, and they have this giant contraption that I've literally never seen. I just stared at them for like the last 10 minutes. Thank God they can't see me. At least I hope they can't see me. And I was like doing one of these like where you kind of creep the window to the side and you're just like, girl, what you got? It was the coolest thing. It's like, it looks like a giant box saw, but like on wheels. I've never seen anything so cool, but if you can hear it, I apologize because I can hear it loud and clear. So that's what that is. But diving into this foundation up close, let's go ahead and throw that part in for you guys as well. I am really, really liking the way that this looks. I love that it's settling very evenly over my skin. Now, I do have the type of skin, and I've mentioned this several times, that when I put on my foundation, it takes roughly a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on the foundation, for my natural oils to come out. They mix with the foundation, and then we can really see how everything is like settling, sinking, and really pooling on the skin. But for how this is settling after about a half hour, 45 minutes so far, I am really, really liking the entire face and the nice light matte finish that I'm getting. It's not so matte that it's pulling like dry or chalky or dusty at all, which I appreciate more than you could know, especially given the shade of this foundation being just a freckle too light. But okay, you guys, they just started their truck again. I'm gonna go ahead, run out, do my day. I'll stop back on at the end and we're gonna do our close-ups, our final thoughts, all that good stuff. So hang tight and I will be right back. Okay, you guys, it is officially the end of the day. I've been wearing this foundation on my face for about 8 hours, and I definitely have some final thoughts. So I think the first place I want to start this ending portion off is actually with the up close. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys that real quick and kind of talk you through what I'm seeing up close. That way you can kind of follow along here. I am seeing some slight settling into my Hulk line up on my forehead and the little wrinkles in between my brows, my little scrunch lines, if you will. I'm seeing some slight settling there. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's obviously not ideal. And in my smile lines around my mouth, I am seeing some settling. As far as other issues I'm seeing, I do notice a little bit of almost cakiness around the mouth on both sides, as well as on the top and bottom, like the chin and the upper lip area. So as you guys can tell, based on the up close and kind of my back and forth, there are some aspects to this foundation that I think are really nice. And there's a couple things that I'm not obsessed with. Something just kind of to throw out there for me, smile lines through here, the little furrow brow issue right in here, as well as the Hulk wrinkle, those having some slight settling after 7-8 hours, that is not uncommon for me at all. And I just kind of wanted to mention and throw it out there that compared to another foundation I tried recently, the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie, I really love the way this foundation looks, the way it sits on my skin. It is beautiful, but this is a cakey sister in my smile lines. Girl, I have never separated so quickly as with this foundation, but I ended up loving this foundation so much that I ended up just changing up my routine a little bit. I went in with a different product around my mouth right here, as well as I've been going in with a different setting powder when I use this. And what that does for me is it allows the product to really stick and grip a little bit better. And I say all of this because I think it'll be the same with this foundation. For a lot of people, myself included, this is going to be a type of foundation that it's going to work for you in several ways, but really not work for you in maybe 1 or 2 other ways. And it's going to really depend on how you use it, whether that's a primer, a setting powder, so on and so forth. I think for me, just to kind of back and forth between the two sides, I think this has a beautiful smoothing quality to it. I love the way it looks over my cheeks, but the con of that is where I built up the foundation, which I believe was right over my acne areas right here. I do think it looks a little bit too thick, a little bit too chunky, a little bit too cakey right here, just where I had to build it up. So for that reason, I would say if you pick this up, I would stick to more of a medium coverage, whatever it gives you kind of thing. The other thing I really do notice about this, and I'm not sure if you guys could see it in the close-up or not, but I do feel like primer and powder are really going to make a difference with this one, because over my Tatcha Silk Canvas side, which is this side over here, I feel like very consistently throughout the day, this side looked so much smoother. Whether it was the overall texture, the lines took a little bit longer to come in over here, and my nose actually held on longer on this side than it did on this side. So I think this is the type of product that really is going to respond nicely to having an even base before it goes in. This isn't going to be one of those foundations that really self-levels, if you will. This is going to be the kind of product that really just wants that little hug, that little nudge of lovin' from the Tatcha Silk Canvas. Now that's not to say though that this other side doesn't look nice, because it really looks smooth through here. But again, in this more textured region right through here, it just doesn't have that extra little oof that it needs that it did get on the other side. Something I always do at the end of my foundation reviews, again, if you are new here, is I always mention what I would do or what I would change to make it work better for me personally. That way, if you at home have similar skin or a similar issue, you know how maybe you could combat it if you tried to pick this up. I think the first thing that I would change is I would maybe set my face a little bit more intensely around my smile lines. I might even consider baking in those areas just to really lock this product in. I did say when I was going in and setting my entire face that you will want to be a little bit careful depending on your skin type how you set it. And if I wanted to amp up the coverage with this one, instead of going in and using more of this, I would actually go in and add a little bit of my Catrice HD Full Coverage or even my Dior Forever. I think one of those would be a much better option for adding some version of coverage versus going in with more of this, because this is one of those products that it seems to kind of just build up, like I said, get a little heavy, a little thick when you build it up, and I really don't want to go that route. Now that is just assuming that I wanted more coverage, but if I'm being completely honest with you, this is a foundation that I personally would wear just as it sits. I would want this to just be that nice medium coverage that is breathable and looks very skin-like on its own. For me, I think that's where it thrives. I'm not saying you can't adjust it, maybe add more coverage with a different foundation, or maybe adjust it with some concealer or something like that. Now reading through all the other claims claims on the box. I'm just trying to make sure I have all of them handled here. The claim of does not transfer, I don't agree with that. I think if I were to wipe my head right now, actually, let's just do that. Oh yeah, full of foundation on my hands. You guys can't see it because it's the color of my fingers, but I'm full of foundation on my hands. And yeah, it's not transfer resistant. To be fair, I've never had one that was. I think that's an insane claim to make, but it's not transfer resistant for me. Waterproof, girl, I'm gonna test that, honey. I do my best to stay away from water, away from all that business when I have makeup on. Like, hello, I'm not going to a water park with a full face of makeup on. Pfft, hell no, that's way too much work. So overall, you guys, those are my thoughts. I had a pretty decent experience with this. I don't really have any negatives that are like deal breakers for me. I think everything is relatively tweakable, but I'd like to hear from you guys down below. What are your thoughts, opinions? Are you curious? Are you excited for the next Urban Decay video with the concealer and all of that? And speaking of which, by the way, we are just putting a pin in this. We're not talking about it, but I want to use it with those products as well and then give you my final thoughts on the sponge. So just kind of pigeonhole that for a second. And you guys, that's it for this video. Again, let me know your thoughts down below. Opinions, thoughts, concerns, questions, leave them all down there. Now, while you're down there leaving me all your thoughts and opinions down in those comments, honey, do not also forget you can check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. They're both linked down in the description box. And if that's not enough, it's not enough. You can also subscribe and turn on your post notifications for this here YouTube channel because I do upload 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan, which is nice. It's bright, it's early for so many of you in the US and throughout the world, and it's just a really fun way. We all wake up, we all do our makeup together, we learn about new products, whatever's going on in the makeup world, and we just have a good time, and we listen to the loudest damn trucks. Hello? But you guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Girl, I am looking some kind of rough right now, I tell you that. Oh, maybe it's because we have a pen jammed in our head. Oh my God, my foot's asleep. Hello, my foot. I'm gonna need to be airlifted out of here. Hello, Jesus. Could you pick me up and put me in my bedroom, please? What? For fuck, I really did leave my phone in the other room, didn't I? Didn't even know that was possible for me to be without it for so long. Oh man, I have to pee so bad that I'm like afraid to move. That can't be good. That can't be good. Oh my God, I'm gonna pee my pants. Don't pee. Do not pee, Paige. You are almost 30. We are not peeing our pants today, honey. No, we are reserving that right for when we are 60. Maybe 50, let's be honest. Okay, you guys, it is officially the end of the day, and I have been wearing this foundation on my big old face here. My big old face. On my big old face. It's the same size as it was this morning, I think.